Hello, and welcome back to the At-Home Educator podcast. Hello, everyone. It is Brittany here again, and I am back with another episode of the At-Home Educator podcast. Like you didn't know that. Well, everybody, this week I have a very exciting episode for you all because I got to sit down with the one, the only, Nancy Taylor. It was so great to sit down with her, and it was such a great honor for me because Nancy Taylor helped me a lot personally when I was doing research to start working for VIPKid, and I know that she probably helped a lot of you as well. Nancy has been with VIPKid pretty much from the beginning, and so that is what we talked about a lot in this podcast. It was very interesting to hear about how VIPKid has changed over the past 3 years. We all know VIPKid changes from month to month, so it was very interesting to hear how it changed over that long of a period of time, and how much the community has grown and how much the future has to hold for VIPKid. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in to my interview with Nancy Taylor. Enjoy! Hello, everyone. I have Nancy Taylor here. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Hi, I'm Nancy Taylor. I am a VIPKid teacher. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and I love it. I started by just teaching, and then my second year I started doing interviews. I've done a lot of video content for curriculum team, and now I spend most of my time doing the recruiting and coaching and helping new teachers join the team. So I've had a lot of different hats I've worn with VIPKid. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 kids, 3-year-old and 1-year-old, Ava and Jack, and they rock my day, my world, everything. They're my whole life, so I love them.
Yeah, so I know that you've been with VIPKid for a long time, and that is the majority of what I'd like to talk with you about today, just kind of how it's changed, your experience with everything. So we will dive into that. But I wanted to start with some background on you. You put out a lot of videos out there, and they're wonderful, but I feel like you don't talk about yourself that much. So I have a few questions.
I feel like I talk about myself too much, so thank you. That's a compliment.
Well, I wanted to know, like, what is your teaching background? Were you a brick and mortar teacher before you started VIPKid? How was that?
Yes, yeah, you nailed it on the head right there. I was a 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade teacher, so I was all over the place. But I studied elementary ed. I taught school for 5 years, and then when my daughter was born, I researched online jobs for probably a year. The whole time I was pregnant, I was just looking, what can I do? And I did a couple things. I was worked for a company where I was the teacher online, and it just wasn't my groove. It was with like Utah Academy. I can't even remember anymore. But I just was a little bit frustrated. It was a lot of effort, a lot of work on my end for not a lot of pay and not a lot of, I didn't get that rewarding feeling that you get when you're teaching. So when I found VIPKid, I was like, I'm getting paid for this? Like, this is beautiful. I loved it. So I do sometimes miss the classroom, but I think that I found the perfect niche, especially for being home with my kids with VIPKid.
Yeah, so we have somewhat similar experiences. I was a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teacher for 2 years before I got pregnant and found VIPKid. So I have a little bit of experience with those aged kiddos as well. So
Yes. Oh, they're so fun. They're still my favorite. Right now when I teach, I love my level 4, 5, 6, just because I'm super sarcastic. Like I'll just say things and they laugh. And the younger kids, it takes a lot of energy. I think it's a certain type of angel that teaches those young level 1s because I'll teach them and I'm exhausted. I'm
definitely,
like, I can't maintain this.
yeah, I have not dipped my toes into level 1 yet, but I don't know if I have what it takes.
It is fun to mix it up. I like to mix it up because you do a lot of energy, a lot of movement, and then with my older students, it's a lot of conversation and oh, so many jokes. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. So is the main reason that you started teaching with VIP Kid, I'm guessing it's because you had your daughter, right?
Yes, yeah, 100%. So my husband's a pilot. With a pilot schedule, it's kind of different. It's not the 9 to 5 job. He's gone for 3 days, home for 4 days, or gone for 2 days, home for six. Or it just depends on the week. So when he was gone, he would be working. I would stay home with my daughter. So she was just a newborn. And then when he would come home, I would go in and substitute teach. So because I didn't want to work full time, I wanted a parent to be home with my child all 24 hours of the day. I was kind of very particular about that. So I wasn't seeing my husband very much, and I thought there's got to be a better option. I was looking for anything online. I think I tried to do like reservations for airlines, anything. I just wanted to be home. So when I found a niche that was teaching from home, flexible hours, it all clicked into place, and I've been so grateful and blessed because of it.
Yeah, so that's why I got started with VIP Kid as well. But you were kind of in the OG original VIP Kid, right? So when did you join with VIP Kid? What year was it?
That's cool that that's a thing. It was January of 2016, and when I started, there were I think 500 or so teachers, and now there's 60,000. Like what? It's
Wow.
crazy. Like when I started, there were Skype groups. That's how we communicated with each other. The platform was very simple. There wasn't all these bells and whistles and options, and information wasn't all over the place. I think that there was only one other or two other teachers that I had seen a YouTube video from, and that's what kind of gave me the idea to do YouTube videos was uh, they made it a real thing. They put a person's face to this job, and I thought, okay, it's not a scam or something that they want all my money. Just it made it real. So then when I started teaching, I thought I need to pay that forward, and that's why I started doing YouTube videos was I wanted to share with others. It's a real thing. You can work from home. I searched long and hard, and now I have to share the good news with others.
Yeah. So when I was looking into becoming a teacher, your videos helped me out a lot, actually. So I found you on the internet as well as, all of the other people that are out there, and you guys make amazing content. So thank you for doing that.
You're so kind. You're so kind.
But when you started with VIP Kid, how did you even hear about them? Because they were so small. Like, where did you find them?
Yeah, so when I found them, I was looking on job boards. So it was online. It was actually Indeed.com. And I would just type in remote teaching, remote fitness, because I also do fitness instructing. And I actually found two jobs at the same time, and they were both online, VIP Kid, which was teaching, and then an online fitness company. And I've been working for both. I started the same month, and then they just kind of have grown, and I've been able to do leadership positions with both, and I really enjoyed them.
All right, awesome. Yeah. So you said there were how many teachers when you started? 500, you said?
500 or so. There was less than 1,000. Like I think that there's now that many mock class mentors. There's probably
Y-
about 500 interviewers, which is crazy.
Yeah. And what were the student numbers like, do you think, back
Oh,
then?
I have no idea. To be honest, I don't know how many students there were. I would see with I think the same things pertain to now that I see with new teachers I help is I still struggled with bookings even though there were less teachers because VIP Kid wasn't as well known on the student end. So I can't throw out a number because I actually have no idea, but just like the percentage wise, they do a really good job at keeping both in alignment. So there's enough teachers for students, and both are growing at a good rate. So I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, definitely. So when you first got hired, what was the hiring process like?
Oh, that's a good question. When I was hired, we didn't need a background. I was in front of a white wall. I think it was actually like off-white, looked terrible, terrible lighting. Like I wasn't coached on any of that. What I was coached on was I would watch a teacher teach from head office. They had an example, and she did the point to your chin, cup your ear. And so I was like, okay, this is how I teach. And I saw her talking with her hands, and I was like, oh, I can do that. I didn't know what TPR was. I didn't know that I needed to show more visuals or how to model. All those things kind of came with time, and I think VIPKid has done a good job at training their teachers a lot more. So as far as quality control, when I first started, I think they were happy to hire anyone that was interested and could speak English well. Their bar was not as high. I think that it's a lot harder. If I were to go through the application process, I would have to prepare and practice a lot more than when I started. So those that have been here a long time, I'm sure can attest to that. It wasn't as difficult.
Yeah, so did you still have to do like your mock class?
Yes.
And so it was
Yep.
the
So we
same.
would, yeah, kind of the same format, different lessons that we taught. I think it was the letter T. We taught a lesson for a demo, and then we had mock class one, mock class two. So it's kind of transitioned a little bit more where there's unlimited chances now for the mock class. But but before, some differences were we got feedback after we were a teacher. We had like a month, and they would send us feedback on our class because they had the chance to do that. So they had less teachers, so they could kind of monitor that first month, which I appreciated. I hope they do something like that in the future to help new teachers too, still.
Yeah, was that a little nerve-wracking, like knowing that they
Yeah,
were watching you?
yeah. What class are they going to give me feedback on? So I really did like do my best and everything. Just I didn't know which one they were going to send feedback.
All right, levels. I wanted to talk to you about levels. When you first started with VIP Kid, did they have as many levels as they do now, or how did that work?
Okay, so you're making me think here. They didn't used to have like a level 6, 7. Those they have added on later on. And we didn't have a level 1. So we didn't have that really beginner level. We had, when I started, I was certified in everything. I didn't have to specifically certify in things. So I could teach trial level 2, 3, 4, 5. But there wasn't as much content that we taught. I don't think their curriculum was as developed. So, and there were a lot more errors in the curriculum. Like you would see a lot more errors on the screen, which they have caught and quality control to the max now. Like I don't ever see errors, which is great. I think that they've done a really good job at catching those things. But yeah.
Yeah, so would you say that most of them were like intermediate level when you first started? Like most students were intermediate?
Majority of my students, when I started, it's similar to now. I think when you start, you see a lot of younger students because they usually will take the classes from the new teachers, whereas the older students kind of came with time. So I started to gather more older students as I taught more. So after a couple months, I would see more and more of the older students. And that became my favorite and kind of my niche. So that's who I usually get booked with now. It's pretty rare to see a brand new level 2 student on my schedule.
Yeah. So now that you've been teaching for 3 years, right?
Mhm.
Have you found like a favorite? Like which ones do you like to teach? Not student wise, but like level wise.
I do have a favorite student too. No,
Oh.
it's like picking your favorite child. Which one's your favorite? I do have a favorite child too. No, I'm just kidding. My husband will tell you I do. But for favorite level, I like to teach the level 4 or 5. Again, it comes back to just I can have the conversation and it's more comfortable. However, I do like to slip in a level 1 there. It really surprised me that I love the singing. I like that we go around the world. The curriculum is really fun. And every time I prepare my lessons, Ava, my 3-year-old, she'll just sit on my lap and like I'll let her draw on the screen. So I always do the lessons with her. And I love that because I'm thinking this is a good skill for me as a mother. I can apply it with my own daughter because I'm teaching her the exact same things, phonics, letters, blending, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I just recently made some new like letter flashcards. And so I've been trying, my daughter's only 10 months old, but I've been like showing her pictures and now she growls every time that she sees a lion. I'm like, these people are gonna think my daughter's crazy. She goes like rah every time she sees it. So
I love that.
yeah, it's definitely applicable, I think, to teaching the little ones. So you said that when VIP Kid first started, y you guys just did Skype calls and things like that.
There was no Hutong, so we had a Facebook group And I used it all the time when I first started because I didn't know like if there were more system errors. So if something was happening online or I couldn't access my classroom, I would just go on the Facebook group or it was I mean there was 500 teachers, so you didn't feel kind of lost or like you had to find a specific group. There was one and that's the one you went to. And then once they started to grow, more groups started being made and then they made the Hutong and I mean, they've just exploded where you can kind of find a niche that fits your needs. Like there's a Utah Facebook group now, and that kind of gives me the community and the local influence. I can go with those that are going to meetups and things like that. So I think it's cool that they've kept that community, and the Facebook groups are kind of self-managed. I don't know. I know that VIPKid kind of monitors the official one, but there's so many big groups that are monitored by teachers, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. And even just like scrolling through Instagram, I feel like when what did they call it? The Great Star Famine of 2019 or whatever, that day that the stars stopped working.
Yes.
I scrolled through Instagram and I was like, "Oh my goodness, the stars aren't working," before I even started teaching that day. So
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't even think to check on Instagram. That's a good idea. So I don't usually get on Facebook groups anymore. As a new teacher, I really appreciated it. But now, like when the star stopped working, that's when I'll go check on the Facebook group and see if there's like 800 comments on it. And then I'm like, okay, not just me.
yeah,
And then I
gives you
can just rest assured, yes.
it gives you peace of mind.
Yes.
Well, since you've started working in 2016, 16, right?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
2016. How has your bookings changed? Like, how has it changed for you? Do you still have to just like, oh, well, I'm guessing not, but do you still have to like open crazy slots and just wait, or do you do only priority bookings, or how does that work for you now?
Yeah, good question on the booking. So when I started in February. Well, it was January. I didn't get a booking until February. I don't even think I got really many in February because Chinese New Year. So I think I got like 11 the entire month. And then the next month I had like 63. So it doubled. I was able to make a video. It was called a Book Me video where you can kind of advertise. You do it for no pay, just it was like, "Hello, my name is Teacher Nancy. Here's my 5-month-old." So I totally used Ava, like, "Look at a baby, book my class." So after that, it kind of took more. My bookings were about 90%. I would still get some trial classes last minute, but I would say after month 3 or 4, any slot I've opened has always been booked. And when I did now, I only do priority booking. So whatever slots I open, they're just my regular students. So I see them every single week. They'll ask to do the priority booking, and then I'll accept it. So I see them at the same time each week, which I really appreciate the priority booking. So we don't have to finagle and the parents don't have to stress to get their teacher that they want to see each week. So that's what I do now. It's just
Y-
priority booking.
Yeah, that's definitely nice. And you said you've started doing more, I don't know how to describe it, like admin type jobs with VIP Kid,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. So what I do now in my working time, I only teach for an hour in the morning, and then I respond to emails, I respond to videos. Teachers will send me videos of them teaching, and I'll give them feedback in the application process. So the admin work that I do is I've been able to create a system that is very flexible because I'm home with my two little ones during the daytime. I have a website, I have videos that walk through the application process. So what I do in my working time is respond to emails. I have teachers send me videos of them teaching and I give them personalized feedback on, okay, can you adjust this? You did this really well. And then I also just answer any of their questions. If they can't find the answer online, I say, send me your questions and I can help you out. So that's how I do my recruiting. I used to go find all my recruits, but now they come to me just through YouTube. They'll find me on YouTube and then they'll email me, which is really quite nice. They've already done the research and I can help them out. So that's what I do with the admin work.
Okay, awesome. So you are a brand ambassador with VIP Kid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so how does that work? Does VIP Kid like assign you what to do, or do you come up with things and just kind of run it by them? Or how does that work?
Yes, so both ends, we collaborate on content. Most brand ambassadors upload maybe 1 to 2 videos a month. maybe they do more than I do. That's all that I can get out is 1 to 2, sometimes 0. But what will happen is they have a lead that's in the San Francisco office, and she'll send us any content that head office asks for. So say they're doing a recent video I did was for the Beijing trip incentive for doing referrals. And so I would say, yes, I'd love to include that. I have content that I was going to share tips for recruiting. So I'll kind of combine what I had in mind for doing a video with what she sends me. And then also vice versa. I'll say, hey, this month I'm doing a video. So right now I'm working on a video for teaching when you're traveling. So a lot of teachers will ask me, what do you do when you travel? Do you teach? And so I'll take that and I'll say, hey, I'm going to make a video that walks you through kind of what I do, and I'll get feedback from other teachers on what they do. And then I'll reach out to the lead. Her name's Marissa in San Francisco, and say, I'm creating this video. Would you like it to be a brand ambassador video? And I can make sure that I state that it's been cleared by head office. And then when it is cleared by head office, I have to make sure that all my content is in alignment. Like, I won't say anything that is just opinion. I want to make sure that they approve of it.
So do you think that kind of getting in on the ground level helped you with that? Because I know that they never have any spots open yet. So for
Yes.
brand
So
ambassadors.
with the brand ambassadors, the cool thing is if you know someone that's a brand ambassador, definitely reach out to them. So I do think that you can get in to a brand ambassador position. I know that the number of positions are limited. They only have so many that they do, but the cool thing is they're branching out to Instagram. So they'll have Instagram accounts. So those that are not just YouTubers that just do YouTube videos have an opportunity to also promote the brand and to collaborate with head office. And the best way I think to get in on that is if you know someone, message them, tell them you're interested. I referred Jennifer, she's a brand ambassador, Michael, Aaron. So I've referred a lot of teachers that have become brand ambassadors. And the reason why is they'll ask for our feedback. Is there someone that's been on your radar that you've come in contact with that would be interested? And if I don't know, someone hasn't reached out to me, then I don't give them any names, or I don't know anyone. But I usually have someone on my radar or that I've come in contact with that I'll send them their name. And it has to be, I would say that what I look for is someone that's consistent with content, very positive, and they share things that are entertaining but also motivating, and things that I think the brand would like to support. So they're looking for that. So if you have a lot of videos that are very negative, they probably won't like to promote that, or are like, boo, VIP kid. Obviously, they're
Yeah.
not going to want to
Yeah.
promote it.
Yeah, I think that would be common sense.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so it sounds like it's changed a lot since you first started with them. And I'm interested to know, like, what aspect do you think has changed the most with VIP Kid?
The biggest change, oh, that's so tough to say. I think the biggest change is people knowing what VIP Kid is. So when I first started, no one had heard of it. Um, I didn't know what it was. And now I can look down my street and there's like 4 VIP Kid teachers on my street. They
Wow.
might be all my referrals. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. No, when we moved into our house, there were several that were like, you look so familiar, Nancy. And where have I seen you? And they had seen my videos, or they had heard about VIP Kid and seen a Facebook ad that had my face on it, or something like that. Whereas before, that would have never happened. I would have never ran into someone at the zoo and they said, hey, Nancy Taylor. Like, it's more well known. And I think with VIP Kid becoming more well known, then also my YouTube videos have become more well known. So sometimes I'll run into that where they will recognize either VIP Kid or my name or my face. So it's kind of cool to see that growth.
Yeah, so I know you got to go to Beijing, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Is VIP Kid everywhere, all over China? Like, do you see it everywhere?
I know when we went there, it's so cool because like in the States, you see VIP Kid all over online, like Facebook, it pops up, Instagram. I'll just see ads and ads and things like that. Whereas in Beijing, there are billboards, there's a whole subway decked out, and you'll pass them. I'll be like, hey, VIP Kid. Like, I don't ever see it in person somewhere in the States. So it was really cool to see their they go big on the advertising. And then there's also full buses decked out in other companies. So you can really see there is a competition. Like, whoa, I see that there's so many different companies that they're advertising for the kids. But it was really cool to see all orange in like a subway. Like, whoa.
Yeah, always look for the orange. In all the pictures
Yes.
I've seen, it's just you look for the orange, and that's VIP kid.
Exactly. I know at first I was like, why orange? I don't love orange. And now I'm like, it's like my favorite color now. It's so
Yeah.
bright and warm, and they picked a good color for the company.
Yeah, I own all the orange shirts and
Exactly.
do you know, does orange have any kind of meaning like in China? Like, because I know in America, like red and blue, they have different like marketing aspects. Do you know if orange has anything?
That is such a good question, and I don't know. I don't
You
know
don't
why
know.
they chose orange. Maybe it was a color that hadn't been taken or that others weren't using because it's kind of a rare color to take as your, I don't know, only color to advertise and stuff. So I don't know why they chose orange. And now with the new brand, I know that they have more of those kind of pastel, subdued colors. If you look on the new branding, which looks really nice, and I think it ties in the orange really well. So I'm sure they'll adapt and change colors as we go.
Yeah, well, they're an ever-changing company. Even just since I've gotten hired, everything has changed. So it's hard to keep up with everything.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So, as a referrer, right? Referrer,
Uh-huh.
how do you keep track of all that? Do you just kind of make sure that you read all the updates, or what do you think is the best way to make sure that you're making sure you know everything that's changing?
So originally, when I started recruiting other teachers, I would learn the process through them. I would say, okay, what does your slide look like? Can you send me a screenshot? Forward me the lesson. And then when I became an interviewer, I have access to that. So I do have the opportunity to look through all the lessons. I know what the rubric looks like, what they're graded on, which I know is a huge advantage that I have with that. Now, with the updates, this is feedback that we've given VIPKid is that teachers are nervous to recruit because they're worried that they'll look unprofessional. Like, I don't know what the system looks like. I don't know what lesson you're teaching. So we've given them feedback on, I think this should be exposed to all the teachers. I think they should all have access to what the lesson looks like in the application process. So with my personal story is I've just used the materials from being an interviewer. And then I think that a big thing is teachers are willing to help out. So if anyone comes to me and they're a friend that I've talked to, I'll say, hey, this is an update, or I connect with the Club Orange. That's the top 5 recruiting teachers. We're always letting each other know. Did you see the update that this has changed? And so we're trying to stay ahead of the changes because, like you said, things change fast. And when they do, if you're just starting to recruit and you're like, ah, they changed it on me again, just know that's the norm. They're just going to constantly be changing. So do your best to try and stay in front of it. And if you can't, that's okay. It's fine. You know more than the applicant going through the application process. So you already have a step ahead.
Yep. I always say fake it till you make it.
I'm still
Right?
faking it. It's awesome.
So for the future of VIP Kid, like what do you think the future holds? Do you have any guesses on how they'll grow or what will change?
Yes, I can see with the changes they've made. I love that they do the Jack Ma. It's not called Jack Ma anymore. Do you know the name? Where they do the rural education. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's called the Rural Education Program.
Yes, so
Yeah.
they give education to those that are maybe at a lower socioeconomic status. And when I talked to Cindy, when she met with us at the last Journey conference, she talked about how she wants English and this education to be accessible by everyone in the world. And as they expand, I think they're going to go to South America, over to Europe. I mean, they're going to give many children an opportunity to learn English from a native English speaker, and not even native, but someone that speaks English well and is educated and can help them be successful. So I think that I used to hesitate, like, I don't know how long recruiting will last. I mean, if we're just in China, I don't know if they're going to always continue to grow. Are they going to cap off? Are they going to stay somewhere and say, okay, we have enough teachers? But with her goal and where the company is being driven to. I see them expanding outside of China, continually growing, and I think that they will still need more and more teachers as they are kind of revolutionizing this online learning system, which is so cool to see.
Yeah. So you think that one to many is going to be kind of the next venture? I'm excited for it, but
I would love, so I think that they will expand to where because we do all the one-on-one, so we hit this maybe middle class can afford a one-on-one tutor. So if they do offer the 1 to 4, it could hit a class where they could maybe it would be more affordable for students that can afford the 1-to-1. So I think that that would be cool to do. It kind of makes me like worried, like, will I know how to teach that way? But I know a lot of teachers will do the one-on-one with VIPKid and then do the one to many or multiple with other companies. And so it's kind of like teaching a level 1 and teaching a level 5. It adds variety, it adds contrast, you learn new skills, you grow, you adapt. And I think that it'd be cool to add in more of those. Although I do love my one-on-one classes. I really do.
yeah, it's much different from brick and mortar teaching. I think that was the most interesting thing transitioning from teaching in the classroom to teaching one-on-one online because it's just you and them. So you
Yes,
kind of
and
have to figure them out.
exactly. I feel like a lot of my instruction in the brick and mortar classroom was management. I mean, I think the first 2 weeks of school, I was just teaching them how to behave, how to walk in a line, how to go to lunch, and that's kind of learned on with VIPKid. Those expectations of speaking complete sentences or you're going to be speaking more than me without verbalizing it, they just pick up on it as they go. And you'll notice if you have a brand new student, it's a lot more effort to show those expectations. Whereas if they've been there for a year, they know the expectations isn't as much of your class. So I feel like in 25 minutes, I really can hit the objectives versus in the classroom, like the mainstream classroom, if I had 25 minutes, it would be really hard to hit the objective with 36 students. And so it's a lot easier for me to assess the one child versus 36 students. Takes a lot longer.
Yeah, definitely. Have you tried any of the one-to-many opportunities that VIP Kid has
I
yet?
have not. No,
No.
I was asked to do the one to many, and I remember I just didn't have the time in my schedule to commit to it. So I wasn't able to do that. But I have a couple teaching friends that just love it through and through. They say it's really changed their lives. So to see that they love that and to hear their stories of like students in the window or parents in the windows, just people outside are watching because they've never seen an American teacher or they're learning English. It's cool to see that they love it so much or they don't take it for granted, which I think a lot of students can take education for granted.
Yeah, I think that is a really great opportunity that they've offered for those students. I know in the Hutong recently, well, maybe not recently, but a few months ago, they posted one teacher got to go and visit the village that she taught in for the
Hmm.
rural education program. So I was like, oh, teacher moments.
Yes, I know. And when you are a mainstream teacher, it's kind of fun to maybe do the one to many, have a whole class in front of you. A little bit intimidating, gives you kind of an adrenaline rush. Like, woo,
Yeah.
it's just me. I would definitely be nervous for the first few classes to do that.
Yeah, I think I would be too. Well, that is really all the questions that I have for you. I know you have little ones to tend to. But before we go, do you have any last things that you want to add? Any advice, words of wisdom, last points, anything like that?
Yeah, I like to end with, I always end my videos with choose to be happy. And I think that in the teaching community, you'll see both things online. A lot of times I see so much positivity. I see teachers cheering each other on. And then I hear about the other end where maybe when you're online, people will say unkind things, or you'll hear things if you Google search and you'll say, well, I'm not going to get bookings because I saw all these posts about not getting bookings. So I would encourage everyone listening to kind of instead of looking at other people's journey, it's great to have feedback and to see others, but take your own journey, make what you want it to be. And instead of comparing where Nancy's at this, where all her referrals come to her, I'm never going to be able to do that. If you think that way, then that's true. So I think that you get to determine your destiny. It first starts with your thoughts. So if you think, I would love to share VIPKid with others as well, I would like to recruit, then it just starts with one. You just have to get started. Or maybe you want to do the one-to-many, or you want to be a brand ambassador. How will you do those steps? Just write down 3 steps to get there and keep that mindset of what you want to do to serve others. Because a lot of times if it's just to make money, or if it's, the wrong kind of goals or incentives, I think you'll be very frustrated and sad. So I've always had the goal to serve and help others, and I feel like I've been very blessed and fortunate to have a lot of leadership positions and to help a lot of people. So it's been really cool. That was a lot of 2 cents, wasn't it?
No, I think it was perfect. And I'm on my second contract, but as a semi-new teacher and somebody who discovered VIPKid in the recent future, and probably on behalf of some people who are listening as well, I want to say thank you to you because you've been a great inspiration as well. So.
Well, thank you. Well, thanks for having me. It's so fun.
Yeah, no problem. It was great to have you on, and thank you for sitting down with me and talking.
You got it.
Hello again, it's me, Brittany from the future. Before we go, I just wanted to say thank you to Nancy Taylor for sitting down with me. It was wonderful to meet her. She is so sweet and so genuine, and she really loves what she does, and she's a great inspiration. If you're not already watching her on YouTube or following her on Instagram, I will link all of her social media platforms below so you can check her out. Also, please let me know what you thought of this video. Remember, as always, you can reach out to me through Instagram, Facebook, email, whatever is easiest for you. I would love to hear your feedback, and I would love to hear if you want me to ask Nancy Taylor anything in the future in case I get to sit down with her again. So definitely make sure that you let me know. Also, guys, I did want to let you know that, as many of you know, I am living the military life, and that means that we move a lot. And next month in June, we will be moving yet again. So here is what's going to happen with this podcast. For the month of June, I am going to be taking off because we are moving halfway across the country over to the East Coast. And so that's going to take some time, and I don't want to disappoint you guys, so I will be taking some time off, but I will still be on my social media. So make sure you are following me on Instagram and Facebook and checking those out, because I will still be giving tips and tricks and posting TPT products. So make sure you're following me there. You can find all of those links below. And I will be back in July for a special summer series. I will be posting 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They will be shorter episodes, and they will be more specific to things that you guys want to hear about. So if you have not already, let me know what you want to hear about, and maybe it'll be featured in the summer series. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you in the next one. Remember to play often, teach regularly, and live your best life. And I will catch you guys next week. Bye, guys.